Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Thrive, where I believe you were not created to survive, but to thrive. And if you change yourself, you can change your world. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I'm really excited. We have a brother, a friend, a family of Calvary in the house, and we've gotten to see his journey over the last few years. Help me welcome the one and only Elijah Roberts in the building. Let's go. How you doing, my brother?
Appreciate it, man. I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing phenomenal. God has been good. It's been great. Thank you for being here today.
Of course.
You and your family have been part of Calvary now for the last maybe 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. But it's been awesome to see your journey. I absolutely love your parents. Your mom, Shonda, is the best of the best. Every time she's up there singing, she is absolutely anointed. And every time George cooks, I'm like, I know I'm going to gain 25 pounds. But it is the best of the best. But love your whole family. To see now how far you've come along. Maybe people don't know, but you are now in the NFL. Come on, you are in the National Football League playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so what an opportunity after all these years, seeing you go from Columbus to and then went over to Dallas, and now to see you in the NFL, it's absolutely incredible. But what I want to talk about today, I think all of that comes with a whole lot of determination, a whole lot of grit, a whole lot of leadership skills. People think maybe that making it to the NFL is easy. It's not. Yeah. It's a whole lot of dedication and a whole lot of discipline. But I wanted to go back really quick. Tell us about your family life. Born and raised here in Miami?
Yeah, born and raised here in Miami. We grew up 5 kids in the household, and my parents were around my age raising 5 kids. They were like 25, 26, had five little gremlins running around the house. So they were
That's insane.
Yeah, so for me, I've always been huge on family. Like growing up, I always enjoyed time with siblings. I always enjoyed time just hanging out with family. Like that's been the biggest thing for me, and I think it just came from growing up with 4 brothers and sisters in the house, of course. So I mean, it's been great.
Your parents are definitely family people, and I'm always seeing them post pictures of all of you guys, and sometimes they'll put some old pictures, all of you guys growing up together. It seemed like a very united family.
Yeah,
you guys were always together, doing everything together. It's like, we're going to do this together. Born and raised in Miami. Were you guys always just into sports? Is that something you grew up in? Is that something maybe your dad told you about, or how'd you get into football?
It kind of just came about, every summer, I would always go to summer camp. Okay. So, you play basketball during your free time. Yeah. You play football and then, dodgeball, whatever. But it was just something about football. At my summer camp, like every time I would play it, I think once I hit like 8 years old, I'd ask my parents every day, can I play football? And they were like, no, like you're too young. You're not playing football. Ask them again the next summer camp. No, you're too young. And then when I hit about 10 years old, my dad, he was about it. Like he was ready for me to go. He was like, man, like if you want to do it, go ahead.
Did he play football?
He played in high school, but I think he stopped in high school, yeah.
Okay.
And my mom, she was like so against it. She was like, no,
really?
I don't want my baby out there taking hits and tackling people and wearing helmets at such a young age. How come he can't start when he gets to high school? And my dad was like, no, he has to start now if he's going to play. And then,
it is a violent sport.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've gone to a few games, and if you sit close enough, you'll see. I mean, first and foremost, you guys have all been blessed with some incredible height. And so I just look on the field and I'm like, okay, I feel so short. And then you guys are literally going full speed. I understand parents being like, I don't want my son playing, especially so young.
Yeah.
But what, like around 10, then finally all right, let's go. Let's play.
Around 10. And then, South Florida, there's kids who started at like age 5, age 6. So by the time I started, I was kind of fresh. I was kind of new out there. Like every kid out there kind of already knew, what to do. And I'm still learning.
They started way younger.
Yeah, and I'm still learning, about cleats and what cleats are for me and what helmet fits me. Like I was a bigger kid. I had a bigger head, a bigger body. So it was like I always had to get like an extra size up than my whole team. And it was a little different for me growing up.
Is South Florida known as, I think I've heard this, but again, I don't know too much about football. Is South Florida known as a football kind of community?
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like, we've got a bunch of stars that have come out from South Florida. But people start early on then.
Yeah, for sure. People will tell you Texas and California, which Texas, I stayed in Dallas for 2 years, and it's definitely like high school football there is huge. It's different. It's different. But I think it just comes with the money and the resources that they have there. But in Miami, I feel like it's so much bigger here just because how they treat high school football is how like families treat like Pee Wee football here. So it's just
huge.
like, yeah, so it's huge. Like
parents will get into fights.
Yeah, like at the Pee Wee games, and kids are like 7 years old and they don't even know like who's winning or losing. So,
that is so true. It is a thing down here.
Yeah, man.
It is absolutely crazy. We want to let you know that Thrive merch is now available. Remember, Thrive is a spirit. It's a mindset. And if you want to represent Thrive all over the world, wherever you go, merch is now available. It's also a good way to support the podcast, not just sharing stories, not just leaving comments, but also representing with merch wherever you go. Let people know that you are a thriver. We were not created to survive, but to thrive. We have right now in black and white available. And so go to the website, thriveworld.us, and support and represent and let the whole world know that we were born to thrive. So at 10, you start playing and you fall in love with the game. You're just like, I love this thing. I want to do it. And then as you get into high school, you're like, I'm trying out for the high school team.
Yeah.
Before that, was it always just Pee Wee leagues and different leagues around South Florida?
Yeah, for me, it was all just different kind of leagues. And when you're playing, it's all about your weight and your age. So like, once I got too heavy, I had to play in like a different kind of league. It was called
playing against older guys.
Yeah, so I was a younger guy, but I always had to play with older guys because of my weight. So like I couldn't play with my age group because I was always heavier. So I had to play with older guys until I got heavier than them as well. And I wasn't like a fat kid. I was just a big kid.
Yeah.
So I had to end up changing leagues down at Homestead where it was just strictly on age.
Yeah, I think I understand because we're about the same height. Okay, so but that must have been, now looking back, it worked to your favor.
Yeah, yes sir.
Because
yes, sir.
it prepared you to play against guys who were bigger and stronger and heavier, but you had to go out there and fight for your life.
Yeah.
So here you are at 13, 14, 15, playing against all these older guys. What middle school did you go to?
Herbert A. Emmons.
Okay.
Emmons Middle School.
Wait, but you're still playing the leagues.
Yeah.
Middle school, not really no official team. None of that.
Yeah, no, there's no like official set.
For middle school.
Yeah, so
it wasn't until high school.
Leagues. Yeah, high school was my first time playing for like a school and like a.
Is that when you went to Columbus, or did you start?
I started at Cole Park, Miami Cole Park. I went there for like a year and a half, and then
you went to Cole Park. Cole Park is huge in Miami.
Yeah.
People don't know. Oh, that's where you guys met?
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
Are you saying his girlfriend's in the building? You guys met. So you guys been together for a long time.
Yeah. My last day at Cole Park, I was transferring out. I was going to Columbus, and then we had a mutual friend, and I was saying bye to that friend, and then she came over, and we just like that was our first time ever talking.
Your last day.
My last day at Columbus.
So it could have not have happened by a day.
By one day.
Wow, that's insane. What a journey. Okay, one day we're going to have Diana. You got to join us as well. Tell us your story. But wow, that's good. Okay, so your last day, you meet her. You're leaving. You're transferring to Columbus because Columbus is known as the football school here. And was there just more opportunities for you to get better in your skill set? What made you want to transfer?
It was just, as far as like being looked at for college, it was never like an issue. I always felt like if I had the talent, I could always be seen. But it was about being ready for college, like being able to be, because at Columbus, we'd have 6 a.m. workouts. Classes were at like 8, and then you have workouts again after school. And then, you got film in between classes and stuff like that, because it was a private school. So like we'd have free time like apart, and then we'd have to go up, watch film with the coach. And this is like all during school. So
it's
it really,
intense.
Yeah, so like it really like set you up
where
for college.
Maybe in other schools it's just kind of like, all right, you play football.
Yeah, like when I was at Cole Park, we'd spend like 40 minutes a day on football, and then that was it. Like at Columbus is a lot more rigorous. Yeah.
Did you feel prepared when you went there?
Yes, yeah. Like when I freshman year at Miami, there was. So you come in with probably about like 20 other freshmen, and you see the difference from guys who came from different schools, and they're like, just for them to get up early at like 5:30 in the morning was like a hassle for them. Like it was a struggle for them, which, understandable. But for me, I was used to it because I had to do it my last 2.5 years in high school. So you see the difference on guys who get coached hard. Some guys can't take it. Some guys can. Some guys, you have to kind of talk down, or not talk down, but kind of come to them with like love and more softer tone than kind of just beating down on them. So it was just, and you see like how different guys are.
I want to talk a little bit about your family situation. And now that you're talking about tone and talking, because me and Dad always say, you are so polite. Like you are always, every single time we run into each other at church, and we talk, I'm talking about for years, you're always, and we always say, Yeah, I wonder what Shonda and George did. So I want to talk about it because I want to raise my son and my future sons and daughters like that. But you're always like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And me and Dad are always like, what kind of training did your parents put? Or was that football? Did that start at home? Where does that come from? You have incredible manners, like true story.
Yes, sir.
And I think nowadays that's missing in today's world. I'm talking about not just in the regular world. I'm talking about even in church. Mm-hmm. You run into young people and they don't know how to treat people with honor and respect. Did that come from the football world? Did that come at home? Where did that start?
Man, truthfully, I would probably say it started at home. Of course, playing football your whole life, obviously, helps it. But, man, my parents were just so, I wouldn't say strict, but just making sure you know right from wrong, speaking to an elder, look them in the eyes. Like, my dad always told me, like, every time you shake a man's hand, you give him a firm handshake, you look him in the face, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And it was just, it kind of stuck with me. Like, it wasn't like they, like, beat it, like, to us. It was just more of, like, okay.
Always reminding you.
Yeah, so, and, like, as a kid and then, like, growing up into a young man, there was, like, certain things from life that, like, I always remembered. And that was something that, like, I kind of, like, never forget. So anytime I'm meeting somebody, whether, like, it doesn't matter whether you're in life and where I am in life.
That's
Everybody's equal.
You treat everybody with respect.
You treat everybody with respect, you know, so.
I grew up in the same way. That's why I asked, because I grew up in the same kind of household, right? It was me, my brother, my sister, with my mom and my dad, and my parents were huge on that. Like, my parents, to this day, I can't remember them ever disrespecting somebody or treating. My parents have always been, in fact, I would say maybe they're too nice, too kind. And so sometimes I've seen people take advantage of their niceness, but they're always like treat people with respect. Always same thing. Look at people in the eyes. My dad wanted to make sure, we were young men growing up, and it's like, if I introduce you to somebody, come on, come say hi.
Yeah.
You don't. And so I'm trying now with Ari. I mean, she's still young. She's 3 years old. But you have this level of education, of manners, of respect that I think is invaluable. It's beautiful, and I think today's younger generation needs to understand that.
Yeah.
And so whether you play sports or business or leadership or ministry, having manners is huge, and having confidence. And so I love that it started at home.
Yeah.
I love that your parents instilled that into you, and they are the nicest, kindest human beings in the world. But they were a little strict.
Yeah, of course, yeah. A little bit of helicopter parents.
Can you tell us some stories? Tell us some stories of home. What's something you remember? Maybe one. Tell us a story about George and Sean that we want to know. Maybe growing up at home, sometimes that you were kind of like, man, my parents don't understand. They would leave me alone. What were some things that maybe they did as parents and you're like,
just anything. Like I remember in like middle school, I used to come to Calvary for the youth nights.
All the way back in middle school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a friend who introduced me to Calvary, and then even then, if I was going like anywhere with anybody, my mom would have to call them, see them in person, come see their face, make sure, do a scan of the house. I'm like, Mom,
you're doing too much.
You're doing too much. And my dad, he's always been more laid back.
Yeah.
Obviously knowing, how my mom is, but they've always been especially with my younger sister, it was a lot, helicopter parenting. But with me, I felt like they kind of let me do my own thing as far as going out and stuff like that, just because I think they had that trust in me, especially at a young age. They knew, okay, he's not, he's not
into trouble.
Yeah, he's not easily, influenced or, I've always been able to kind of, say no to things and, being able to not fall to peer pressure. So
my parents were the same. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I told them I wasn't allowed to spend the night at a friend's house. So I grew up in my street, in the neighborhood that I grew up, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up close other guys that lived there. Like, we grew up together from 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of us in that neighborhood. So they were always having sleepovers. And I'd be like, oh, Mom, everybody's going to go. Or Dad, you ain't going nowhere. It's until the lights go down. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you just come home. Once the lights turn on the neighborhood and the sun goes down, you're coming home. And so we couldn't. It wasn't until I was about 16 that they finally let us spend that. And these are friends that were always at a house. They knew. To this day, they call some of them their other sons. They love some of our friends. And they're like, we love them, but you're not staying at their house. And I remember I'd be like, but everybody's going to go spend the night. It's 10 of us spending the night. They're like, you got your own bed here. Why are you going to go sleep in somebody else's bed?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I guess you're right, but that's how they were. But you appreciate it later when you're okay, I understand why. We're talking about playing in leagues and then getting to high school and playing in Columbus. All along, you had to have some discipline to maintain your focus. I want you to tell me maybe a little bit about what are some of the distractions that you had to maybe say no to, or did you ever get distracted and maybe You were close to losing opportunities because you got distracted by whatever it was. Because even to play at a high school level, it's not easy, especially at somewhere like Columbus. You know, there's a bunch of guys competing for the same position. There's a bunch of people trying to make it. You have to have some determination, but more than anything, discipline. Were you a guy? You just said you weren't easily influenced. Were there moments, were there times where you were like, okay, if I don't shape up, I can lose opportunities?
Yeah, for sure, man. So like when you're in high school, they give you like these numbers of the percentages of people who make it from high school to a Division I. The percentages from a Division I to the NFL. And it always got smaller and smaller every time I heard it. And then last year, or probably for like a few years now, I think the percentages of guys who actually get drafted into the NFL, who play to the NFL from a Division I college or just college in general, it's 1% right now. So that was
1% out of all Division I schools.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, like it makes sense just because there's so many schools, and there's only in the NFL draft, there's only 250 guys who get picked out of so many guys who play college football, and then that was kind of something that always stuck with me. So anytime I was in college, you know, like. And I'd be lying if I said, you know, like there wasn't times where you kind of, you know, you see things for the first time and it's like, okay, what is that? Okay, like, should I go with them or should I do this? Or should I not try that or should I try this? You know, so it was a lot of things that you see at like I went into college at 18 years old. I'm on the team with guys who are 23, 24 years old. And then, you know.
They're living a different life.
Yeah, you know,
fast-paced life.
Yeah, like everybody is like, you know, like in a way different lifetime. So it was just like, it was just more of like you have to know who you are and, you know, always falling back on my parents taught me and or it's like, you know, like that's not me, you know, like
so good
going out with these guys and doing that, even if I did it 1 or 2 times and then, you know, like even when you're in the moment, it's like, yeah, like this is not me. Like this is not where I want to be. This is not where I need to be. Like,
I love that.
You know, so you always got to kind of, and then like locker rooms, you always kind of find your group. You always kind of, you know, like the right person, you know, you guys are always going to kind of steer towards each other. So that was kind of something that I always had to do, which whether I was at Miami, at SMU, and then now in the NFL, man, you just kind of got to find the right guys. You know, I'm not saying there's guys who are bad dudes, but dudes do live like different lifestyles. You know?
Absolutely.
Then,
everybody's in a different season of their life.
So it's completely different.
I want us to talk about coaches, leadership. So this is Thrive Leadership Podcast. Growing up, playing sports. I played sports for a little bit. Not athletic at all, but I played baseball for a little bit and different things. But you have coaches that are literally trying to instill in you principles and values, kind of like they almost become like second parents.
Yeah, for sure.
And so playing for these leagues and then getting into high school and college football, I think there's one word that we were talking about in another podcast, teachable. You got to remain teachable.
No, for sure.
What does it take to remain teachable? Because there's some guys, I'm sure, I saw it in my life growing up, guys that I knew that played sports that were kind of like, man, coach doesn't know what he's talking about. They start getting this attitude of not wanting to listen to somebody. You become so great, you become so good at your skill, at the position that you play, that you almost feel like I know more than coach.
Yeah.
And that can be a huge mistake. And you can do the same thing in business. You can do the same thing in life. What helped you remain teachable? I mean, I'm sure there was times where maybe you did know more than a coach, but you got to submit to the coach.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, like not having an ego, you know, like not being too prideful and not being, you know, like one of those guys, like you said, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna listen to him.
Yeah.
Because even if you do know better, it's just like, especially like in a situation we're in, like I'm a player, he's a coach.
Yeah.
He has the, you know, he has that title of a coach, so, you know, like, I'm going to respect him in his title. You know, if there's anything that gets disrespectful, you know, like, I feel like I'm grown enough as a man to, you know, hey, coach, can we talk? Like, I didn't really like how you said this thing, you know. Didn't really want to.
Did you have situations like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially at Miami when I was getting ready to leave, man, it was a lot of, you know, my first year, I kind of just sat back and just took it. Second year was more, all right, coach, like, I feel like, you know, the way things are going, like, you know, like, as a man, I really wouldn't like, you know, for you to be speaking like that, or like I wouldn't really like, you know, to, you know, like for us to go about things that way. Because even at Miami, like there were times where I felt like I got out of character just because when you get so frustrated with things and then, you know, like people don't really see me get mad or see me like scream but like there were times where like I had to, you know, like kind of, you know, like almost scream or just, you know.
Now
like,
that you say that, I can't see you. I mean, I can't see you upset. I mean, obviously you're how tall are you?
Like 6'4".
Yeah, I'm 6'3". We're right there. But okay, but you always come across as just like this gentle, kind guy. So I can't see you get upset. But like you said, you get tested enough. Yeah. But it takes a lot to instead of lashing out in anger, to say, hey, coach, can we talk?
Yeah.
And maybe I think that's some of the principles and values that your parents taught you, like we were talking about earlier. But that's way better, always going to be better than lashing out in anger or saying something slick.
Of course, yeah, because and then like in those moments, whatever comes out, like you can't really take it back, and that's how you're viewed now. Okay, now you're viewed as the guy who can't keep his emotions together, or he can't do this. And in the football world, it's crazy, but they will use those things against you. You know, like whether it's contract time or whether it's time for you to play in college, or it's just okay. Yeah, but do you remember last year when you kind of lashed out on us about
You're
this?
Not playing.
So it's just like, so, like you got to pick your battles, especially like in that moment. And then, yeah, man, it was like, it's tough, especially when you spend your life on something so much, so much time and effort like into the game.
You spent your whole life basically playing this since 8, 9, 10 years old and you started playing. But I think that's absolutely smart. And I think you did a smart thing because, guys have lost opportunities because they've said something slick, said something out of turn, out of pocket. You never know how it can come against you. I want us to go back to those days in Columbus really quick. Did you ever dream? Did you ever think one day I'm going to make it to the NFL? Was it just like, man, I want to, but because you knew it was so difficult? Or were you always kind of like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do everything I can. What was your thought as you're going through high school?
Man, high school was more like, especially once I got to Columbus, like I went to a few football camps in the off season. I got my first offer. I was like, okay, yeah. Like I got my first offer from the University of Miami. Like now you start to get that confidence to you.
Is that what, like sophomore, junior year of high school?
That was my sophomore year going into my junior year.
Already University of Miami wants you to go try out.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, like you get that confidence and then you get another one, and then you get like 20 more. So when you get all these schools calling you and offering you scholarships to come play at the school, it's like, okay, like I could probably make this in the NFL.
This is becoming more of a reality,
But then you get to college and you realize like the amount of guys who are in college that don't make it. You're like, oh man, like
wow.
Especially as a freshman, like I see seniors who didn't make it. I'm like, he was a good player. Like how did he not make it?
Wow.
And then my sophomore year, you see other guys, man, how did he not make it? Like he was a great player. But like you said, sometimes there's right time, there's the right place, and then sometimes like I've seen guys like really like throw the opportunity away, whether that was off the field or just not being able to be coachable or not being able to just not like stay out of trouble. So there's like you really see guys like throw away their life just like 30 seconds of a dumb moment. So,
wow.
And that was like things that really, really stuck with me. I was like, man, like I cannot be one of those guys.
Yes.
Like I gotta like find a way to be that 1%.
I don't know if I heard this somewhere, but I always say this. I say you can either learn by experience or by someone else's experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's always better to learn by somebody else's experience.
Yeah.
So in my life, I've seen people make some really bad decisions, poor decisions, whether it's get into vices, addictions, attitudes, some of the things they picked up, the ways they talk, the way they treat people, the way they treat, their wives or their kids. And I've always thought it's better to learn from somebody else's experiences than me saying, I'm going to pick up this vice or this addiction or treat people this way. No, I'm going to suffer some loss.
Yeah.
I'm going to suffer. So I'm going to look at other people's consequences and say, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I think, some things you learn as you go along the way, bumping your own head, but it's good to look at other people's experience and learn. While you are in high school, while you are at Columbus, you are working hard on your craft, you're getting these opportunities. Was there ever a moment, let's go back, maybe, I don't know if you have any kind of vivid memory of ever saying, man, I want to quit. Like, I don't know. Did you ever feel like maybe things weren't going your way, things weren't working out, that you're kind of just like, this is not worth it. I don't think I'm ever going to go somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Were there any times, maybe an injury or something, where you're just kind of like, I'm done?
Yeah. Not so much in high school, just because I felt like, especially like after I transferred over, everything kind of just took off for me. But definitely like early on, freshman year of college and like sophomore year of college, because like you said, everybody who gets a Division I scholarship from whatever high school, all the freshmen who meet up, like all you guys were pretty much top dogs at your school. There's 20 of you guys who come in, all 20 of you were, the best players at your school, and that's why you're here now.
Yeah.
But when you get here, there's guys who have been here 3 or 4 years who don't care like what you did in high school.
Who you are, what you did, absolutely.
So you kind of, like you come in first day, now you kind of lose that kind of, like ego about yourself and kind of that presence. You're like, okay, like no one cares about Elijah Roberts right now. You kind of got to show who you are again, which I was always cool with. But then when you're not playing as much and when you like feel like you should be playing and when you put so much time and effort, like I remember just doing like so many like extra reps and so much like extra film my like first 2 years, because I felt like, man, it was a dream. Like I'm at my dream school. Like I'm in my hometown. I'm playing football. Like I'm in Division I football. So, I'm trying to do everything to get on the field. So when you put in so much time into something and then like you don't get that return back, you almost feel like you're being betrayed. Like you almost feel like, man, like what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And then like it literally got to a point where I was like, you know what? Like I could find something else to do. Like,
wow.
you know, like there's no point in me really stressing myself over something that like I can't change. You know, like I can't change the fact that I'm not getting on the field right now. So let's just find something else to do. But then,
so the temptation of quitting is there.
Yeah. Oh man, like the first 2 years, I probably thought about quitting at least twice a month. Like
twice a month. Wow.
Yeah. Like after every game, it was like, man, what am I doing? Like I'm traveling with the team, I'm doing all this, and I'm not getting on the field. Like why am I even here? You know?
Isn't it crazy? Here we are now in 2026, and you're about to enter your second year in the NFL.
Yeah.
And to
crazy.
think, if I would have quit, I would have not made it here.
It's crazy.
You know, and I like asking those kind of questions because obviously for me it's a little bit different. I'm in ministry, but there was times in my own walk and journey, especially with the Lord, where you're kind of like, I wanted to quit. I'm like, man, this is not for me.
Yeah.
You feel insecure. You feel like I can't do it. There's other guys that are way more brilliant than me. I don't have what it takes. But yeah, here we are in 2026, and look what God has done, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, if I would have not stuck it out, if I would have quit, I would have been missing some of the blessings that I'm walking in today.
Yeah.
And there's something about determination and grit that I think money can't buy that you just got to have some resiliency on the inside of you to say, I'm going to get up and keep going. I think one of the things that people now see it more because of social media, because of your discipline and wanting to work on your craft, you have to say no to a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I'm sure there were some hangouts you didn't go to, maybe some birthday parties you didn't go to, maybe there were some beach days you didn't go to.
Yeah.
Maybe the guys in the neighborhood were all doing something, but you had to stay in practice.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that can start to play in your mind. Like I remember when I started in ministry, we had sometimes services or meetings or whatever, and the whole family's having a baby shower or a birthday, but I have to do this or I have to work on my sermon. And you start feeling almost, if you're not careful, it can turn into a frustration.
Yeah.
It's like, I love this, I love what I'm doing, but I also want to be there.
Yeah.
And so it's having a discipline also of knowing like, I got to work harder than anybody else right now because this is what I'm called to do. What are some things that helped you stay focused? Even that, like maybe it wasn't advice or something bad, but even just wanting to hang out with some of the guys in the neighborhood or friends or brothers or sisters.
Yeah, I think it's just like knowing the end goal. You know, like always keeping the end goal in mind.
Yeah.
You know, like are you doing this just because you want to do it, or like are you really trying to help out your family? Like, are you really trying to do this because it's been a dream since you were a kid? You know, like I feel like just the simple things of just okay, this is why I'm doing it. You know, like all these things are always going to be there. Obviously, you know, certain things you can't get back, but I felt like, you know, if I can go back in time and be a kid, like I wouldn't change anything. You know, like all the birthday parties I missed, all the gatherings and stuff that I did have to miss, you know, to go on these camps, to go on these little football trips or whatever. I mean, like I feel like it paid out. So
I mean, here you are. Here you are now, 2026. It did pay out. But I love how you started that. You got to have an end goal in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
We use that word a lot, is having a vision.
Yeah, having a vision.
Yeah, if you don't have a vision for where you want to go,
So
it's
what are
not
you
going to
doing it
sustain.
for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not going to sustain you here. And so if you say, wait a minute, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to become, and there's going to be some challenges or some things I'm missing out on. But I love that you said that. And so, yeah, it's like, I want to become this. I want to do this. So I'm going to pay the price now. But it's going to pay off. Let's go now a little bit into your journey with God. You're a man of faith. You're a man who represents faith, and I've seen you have opportunities in college where you spoke, and now in the NFL, and you always go back to your relationship with God. Has faith always been something part of your life? Is that something that like you just started? I mean, I think it started at home with mom and dad, but your journey with the Lord, how did that start?
Man, obviously, you know, growing up in the church my whole life, but
Did you guys grow up in church?
Yeah, for sure.
For years?
Yeah, like since I can remember. But even then,
Did you guys have no option? We're going to church.
We had no option up until probably like 14, 15. And then like, it was just, okay, like, you know, I'm going to church. So like, if you want to come, you can come. If not, and then like, you know, me, anytime I can make it, I'm coming, you know? So.
Is that something that just, do you feel like you had just like an understanding of who God was since you were young? What made you want to continue having this relationship with God, even though your parents instilled that in you?
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
As a young kid, I felt like it was more of like and it's sad to say, but I felt like it was more of like an obligation. But then as I got older, and it was like, okay, like reading the Bible and just like, you know, like that's not being a true believer. Like being a true believer is living by his word, trying to speak his word into other people, like, and really like, you know, really like dive into what he's trying to teach us. It's not more just about, okay, yeah, I go to church every Sunday, I read the Bible here and there, I pray every night, like I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing for so long, and I felt like, like I'm good enough.
Yeah.
But then it was more like, okay, like, are you really believing his word? Are you really trying to speak his word into other people, and spread his word? I feel like when you do those things, that's when you really,
absolutely,
you become a true believer. And then especially like we spoke, and when you get to college and then you get to a league, there's not many guys who are very open about it. So you kind of, you might like steer off from, speaking about them, or just, talking what
being
guys
vocal
about
your
yeah,
faith.
Yeah, just being vocal about like who you are,
Yeah.
like in the faith side. So it's just a lot of guys just don't speak on it. And,
Yeah.
and there's so many guys who do believe, or they're, kind of like
One
how
foot
I
in,
was.
one foot
Yeah,
out.
yeah, how I was for so long. And then, it is like a sensitive topic for some dudes, because some guys have so many different beliefs. But
yeah, absolutely. It's tough. I can definitely relate. I remember, and we've talked about that thing on the podcast with a couple of guests. You grow up, and it is at first not an option. It's like you're going to church and you feel forced. And that was my parents. It was always like, they said, as long as you're under my roof, you're going to church. And so you kind of grow up like, I guess, whatever. And then you start liking it. You're cool. You have friends. And so you're cool with it. All of us going to church together. But then it becomes this real thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the same kind of feeling where it's like, I just don't want to be Christian because I go to church or I somewhat read or whatever. It's like, no, do I have a real authentic relationship with God? And we've used this saying before. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian, like being in a garage doesn't make you a car. Just because you go to church doesn't mean you're a Christian. There's a lot of people that do, but it's a true thriving relationship with the Lord that you're like, okay, even if I didn't read my Bible today, I got a relationship with God. I'm talking to him throughout my day. I'm doing my thing. How has faith helped you in your football career from middle school, high school, going to Columbus, now going into university? How do you think faith has played a part in all that?
Man, I think it's really helped me, just like we spoke earlier, like times where I really just, like I was stuck. I didn't know like what I should do, if I should quit, if I shouldn't. Asking God just to show me signs, like lead me to the right people. I felt like I was doing everything right, like I just need the right person. So I felt like faith was something that you really got to lean on. And then even when it comes to temptations and, things that you should or should not be doing, like knowing who you are, knowing what you believe in, I feel like those things really stuck with me. And I don't know why, for some reason, I just, every time, you kind of get that feeling like, you know what, like I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's, like that's not me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really just because of like the man I am in faith, really. And then of course my parents as well.
Absolutely. I had another friend of mine that we were talking to, and he plays baseball in the major leagues.
Okay.
He plays in the MLB. And, you get to college and then you get to the major leagues, and there's guys that have all these some of them have wild lifestyles, crazy different lifestyles. And you deal with some of that temptation, and you're like, all right, Lord, help me. And the importance of having a relationship with God and having the Holy Spirit to bring conviction. Because we all live in this flesh, and there's going to be temptation, and you're like, okay, but then you hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And it's crazy because there's something about it where you're just kind of like, I don't belong here. I don't know. I was like, I'm trying to enjoy it, and it may seem enjoyable. You may even enjoy it for a moment, whether that's a night of drinking too much, partying too much, or whatever it is. But then you're kind of like, it's not me. I don't know. It's just like, I shouldn't even have gone out. I shouldn't have done that. But it helps you stay focused. Yeah, it does. And it's the Holy Spirit that just keeps, nudging you and helping you. But I feel like as long as we've been talking and knowing each other the last few years, you've been pretty vocal about your faith. Yeah, for sure. And so you've always been, I think, this bold believer. And I think there's something beautiful about that. And that's why I've told you, I think you're a leader. I think you're a leader. And I know, when you first step into the college scene, you are the youngest one. And now in the NFL, you're the youngest one again. But through and through, I think the Lord just has leadership over your life. But you've been vocal about it. You get to college. I want to go back to those days really quick. Mm-hmm. You get to college, you're in UM. You're playing for the University of Miami in your hometown, in your home team. I mean, it must be like, at first, it was living the dream. Oh, yeah. It was like, you can't ask for a better story. Yeah, for sure. From Pee Wee football to Columbus to UM. But then some things don't start going your way, and you decide to enter the transfer portal. Yeah. How was that process like? Why'd you make that decision? What did it take? Was that something that it took you a while to get to? Take us into your mind frame of going into the transfer portal.
Yeah. That decision was solely just, I needed like eyes on me. I was going into my third year, or my fourth year actually, like And it was just more of, okay, I got 2 more years left, and it was like, I don't want to leave, and that's why I stayed for so long. Like, I stayed there 3 years, knowing I probably should have left after year 1, but it was just more like, man, this is UM. Like, I wanted to be here my whole life, even if I don't play. Like, I just want to be here. Then it got to a point where, you know who you are as a player, and as a man, it's like, okay, I know I'm not a guy who should be on the bench. You know, like, there's,
I can play.
Yeah, like, there's role players in, like, in every sport. Like, there's guys who are stars and there's guys who aren't. You know, like, so, and just knowing your role, like, I always felt like I'm bigger than just a role player. So, and that's really what it came down to. And then I was blessed enough to have a connection from Miami. Our offensive coordinator there, my first 2 years, ended up becoming the head coach at SMU. Okay. So him, and along with 8 other coaches who I played with at Miami, went to SMU.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
8 other coaches?
Yeah.
Wow.
So me and probably like 7 other players went to SMU as well.
So when you entered the transfer portal, I mean, I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to that. Is that just you talking to the school and saying, hey, I want to attend over there? What's like the process of entering?
Well, that it's more of like, it's really like you're going in the portal, and then you kind of got to wait and see who wants you. But I mean, obviously everybody knows, you know,
because you already have
connections here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody has a connection somewhere through some parent or something like that. Oh, hey, such and such at this school, he wants you to come. So, you know, I feel like if you are going to get in the portal, you should know, have an idea already of if any school even wants to have you, because there's no reason to leave a school and not be going to another one. So, I mean, that's kind of what the portal has turned into. But, yeah, it's really just leaving and finding someone.
Did you know that you were going to get more playing time in SMU? That was already
yeah, I mean, it wasn't, like, set in stone. Like, none of the coaches promised me that. Like, they already had guys who were there. But I knew, like, you know,
if I go over there, I got more time to prove myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Get on the field. Mm-hmm. And you did. You entered the transfer portal. You end up going to SMU. You're over there. You're playing for Dallas. And everything now begins to pick up speed. Mm-hmm. I remember having conversations where you're like, the Cowboys are over here watching.
Yeah.
I forgot, a bunch of teams just started going over there and watching you. How does it feel? What year did you deal with the injury? Was it when you were in Miami?
I had a surgery after my freshman year.
Okay.
For my right labrum and a little bit of my collarbone. Okay. Then I had another shoulder surgery after my second year. So back-to-back years I had surgery, and then
did that take you away from some games also?
No, I was blessed because it came in the off season. So like I just had to miss like a little bit of off season time.
So it was never like, oh, this is going to take me away from playing. And
I mean, it kind of hurts you a little bit because during the off season time, like that's the time that you prove that you know that you're the guy for the job, and I had to miss those times. So you know, I like that's why like I never really have any like vengeful like feelings towards Miami. Because
I was talking to somebody who they got injured. They play another sport and they got injured, and I remember that they said that it took away some time from them playing in the season, and it actually took them to a dark place. Yeah, like there's some guys who deal with real depression. Yeah, oh man, and it may seem like some of us that don't play sports or a different we don't understand that, but this is something you guys have been fighting for your whole life.
Man, it's difficult.
It's like, to deal with an injury,
really
something you can't control.
Yeah, like I've seen guys battle with it, and like every guy's different. And then there's some guys, like I said, some guys come from so many different parts of life. Sports is all they have. Yes. Sports is all they know. Like they don't have a support system. Like they got sports. Like they don't have somebody who they can call and lean on. Like they like use sports as their outlet. So when you're taken away from that, especially like at a high level, like it's sad to say, but it's on to the next man. You know, like you come in, you know, they give you treatment, they try to make you feel better, but it's like they don't.
Who's ready? Let's go.
Yeah, like, they're not giving that same attention to you as they were when you were scoring touchdowns or catching interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get that same type of love. It's just like, okay, like, how you doing? Wow. Like shoulder feeling better? Okay, you know, like give you a little dap and that's it. So you kind of feel like, so you kind of feel like, man, like nobody really, you know. So I mean, I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, depression is a real thing. Oh, man, discouragement is a real thing in sports. And, you know, I think people may not understand, but here are people with some money, with some success, yet they're dealing with discouragement, with failure, and a sense of almost like worthlessness. Yeah. Like you said, because the next guy is playing. Yeah. And now nobody's checking on you the way that they were checking on you. It's like,
you could be gone after, you know, like if this guy comes in and he's just really good, you know, like.
That's right.
You're out of here. Yeah. So it's just like.
It's a cruel world.
Yeah, man, it is.
So to play sports, you got to have this like grittiness about you, this attitude to bounce back. Yeah. And so I give a whole lot of props to you guys because it's not easy to come back from injuries. You're now at SMU, you're playing, and you're getting this incredible opportunity, and teams are scouting you. And let's go back. I remember you guys started getting phone calls, and that was a wild, tense time.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, where do I go? What do I do? What were you thinking those days where now the possibility of going to the NFL was becoming a possibility?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
Man, it was just, like I was really just grateful because, like you spoke, man, like hearing that only 1% of guys actually make it, and to hear that teams like actually wanted to see me and fly me out to, just check me out and talk to me, have interviews and stuff. It was like, man, like every time I did something like that, every phone call, every text message from a coach, like I was really just grateful. Like I was just super grateful. Like, you kind of feel like all your hard work has finally paid off for something, especially after going through my first 2 years in Miami, and it was like, man, like, like is my hard work actually paying off? Like, what am I doing this for? But then you kind of start to see that when you get those phone calls 3-4 years down the road, and you get coaches from such and such team want to fly you out and stuff like that, man, it was like,
that's
like,
wild. That's
blessing.
exciting.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Dolphins called me like 2 times, but ministry was busy. I want you to tell us about an experience. Was it I know you went to a few cities, but you did some wild journeys the year before, or those last couple of months before going with Tampa, where you traveled, I think, was it San Francisco, Chicago, going to visit these organizations? What were some of the cities that you visited? What were those trips like?
Man, I went, I think the very first one was, like Green Bay. So, and then after your last game of college, you train. So I finished, our last game was on the 21st. Started training January 1st. I have like a bowl game, like an all-star game in Dallas. That was like the end of January. Come back to Miami. You train some more. Combine is end of February. You come back. You train some more for Pro Day, which is basically like another combine, but at your school. Okay. So I do Pro Day, and then after Pro Day is when you get the calls. You get the messages. You get, okay, this team wants to see you. This team wants to see you. And they're called top 30 visits. So each team gets to bring in 30 players. And when you do those visits, it's just, you get flew in one day. I think you sleep there one night. That next morning, you do all your tests. Yeah, like all your meetings. All the coaches want to meet you. Body tests, all that stuff. You're flying around the place, and then you fly out again like that same night. So
it's fast.
Yeah, so you'll go maybe a Friday night. You're leaving Saturday night, and then after that. So for me, I went from Green Bay. I think after Green Bay, I went to Pittsburgh. I had like back-to-back trips. Came back to Miami. Probably was in Miami for a week. Had to go to San Francisco, and then I had to go to Philly. Wow. So it was
and the whole time unsure. Like you don't know what team is going to draft you.
Yeah, because none of those teams even drafted me. So it was just
and then on top of that, you have to now figure out who's going to be your agent, who's going to help you deal with the business side of things, which a lot of people don't know. Like we watch sports, but there's a whole nother side of sports that it's complicated.
Yeah, for
sure.
It's
business, it's management and all that. And I remember your mom told me, she approached me one Sunday and she said that you guys had found a really good agency.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about your agency and how they've helped you?
Yeah, man. So my agency is Grady Sports Agency. Yep. It's founded by Josh O'Grady. He's a great man, a man of faith as well. He's also been a guy who's helped me, get closer to God in my faith, just because like how strong he is, and just like great people, always find a way to just pour into you, and he doesn't even notice when he does it. But it's just so just having him and then having the rest of the team on staff, man, like it's a great team. Like they pour into me, into my girlfriend, into my mom, into my pops. Like
it's like a whole family thing.
Yeah, they're a true family agency, and it's hard to find that when you're looking for agents. Some agents really just want,
business side of it.
Yeah, they don't really care about who you are as a person. It's more, okay, what can you do for me?
Yeah, But I think because it is, a faith-based agency, you guys were absolutely blessed.
Yeah.
I remember the day of the draft going over, and somebody from the agency was there, and we all prayed together.
Yeah.
And so this is somebody that really cares about you, your family, and that's hard to find.
Yeah.
Like you said, I've talked to other guys who play sports, and it's not easy. It's like, otherwise you start feeling used.
Yeah.
And you're like, these people really don't care about me. They don't care about what I'm doing. As far as off the field, they just want, whatever I can bring them business-wide. But you were blessed. And then the whole process begins of here draft day is coming.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the phone call. You're like, all right, hey, we're gonna do a draft party at the house, and you have no idea what team is going to draft you.
No idea.
We show up to the house, and I think your brother or your sister had bought a bunch of hats, and they're all spread out on the table. What's going through your mind that day of like, I may possibly get into the NFL today?
Man, yeah. So it was a long weekend for me, man. I was blessed enough to get drafted early day 3. So it's 3 days of the draft. I got drafted early day 3, and it was great, man. Because day 2. It was very okay, am I getting drafted day 2? Am I not? Because that was
that whole time, are you getting phone calls?
No, you literally wait for your phone to ring.
That's literally it.
So my phone hadn't rung in 3 days until the Tampa Bay Buccaneers called me. So it was leading up to it, you kind of tell everybody, hey, don't call this phone, don't text me. Everybody kind of almost knew.
Yeah.
And then, but it was more just checking your phone every hour.
And I think you told me you hadn't even gone to work out for Tampa Bay.
No.
You hadn't met with them.
No, I hadn't seen them. I hadn't had an interview with them, no Zoom. So everything that they were doing was more they were going back to your high school, asking them about you.
Oh, so they actually do that?
Yeah. Go back to coaches who you play for, even
so would they
Miami.
Call old coaches?
Yeah, old coaches from high school, old coaches from college, even coaches who they know that you and that coach didn't get along the best. Okay, why didn't you get along with Elijah Roberts? So everybody wants to know everything about you,
which shows the importance of having good relationships.
Oh, for sure.
You want to leave everywhere at least in the best way you can on your end and have good relationship with coaches. You never know how that can pay off in the end. That's a huge leadership lesson there.
Yeah, man.
I think some people burn bridges.
Crazy. Yeah, they ask you about stuff hey, why did you get in trouble back in freshman year? What happened back in freshman year when you got in this fight with this kid in the cafeteria? What happened? And you're what? I don't remember that, but it's just things they want.
I don't even remember that. How'd you find out about that?
Yeah, so they really want to know about you as a man, through and through.
Wow. Yeah. Huge leadership lesson there. As we talk a lot about leadership here, you never know what your actions today can cost you tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to mess up. And thank God, thankfully, all of that went well. And you get the phone call. It is day 3. You get the phone call. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are drafting you. What a day that was.
Yeah.
And here you are now entering the NFL. It was a dream. And I think it's a couple months later, you got to show up because the season is starting. Yeah. How was that whole experience now being in the NFL?
Man, it was long, Everybody says, rookie is your longest year. And, as a rookie, you're like, man, it's going to be fun for me. It's my first year in the NFL. I just can't wait to get there. And then, you do a rookie mini camp, and then you have to come back. You got OTAs, which is just like training, but now you're with the whole team. So, and then you come back. You probably get 3 weeks off, and then now you're back in the training camp. But that's after I had just did the flights and the meetings and the pro days and the combine. So from January all the way up until the end of last year, I really didn't have a break. Probably had 3 weeks off
nonstop
for the whole year. Yeah, so it was just nonstop. So when they say your rookie year is long, it's true. It's definitely probably the longest year of your life.
And you're doing all that without even knowing if you're really gonna even have a lot of playing time. You're rookie.
Yeah, you're just. Yeah, you don't ask questions, you don't say anything, you just do what you're told, you go work.
Wow.
And then anytime that you could, show who you are as a player, you do it. You
just gotta be ready.
Yeah. And then
and again, that's a whole lot of determination and grit to not lose heart, to say, okay, I've been doing all this, getting on flights, getting on meetings, physical exams and camps and whatnot. I don't even know if I'm gonna play. It's my rookie year. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, you got a whole lot of playing time.
A whole lot.
In fact, you got to start.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how was that, bro? You are starting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in your rookie year.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I think that was, I'm pretty sure I've been nervous in games, but I still remember my first game starting. It was just I was super nervous. I'm talking about,
bro, I can't even imagine. I would have been fainting.
Yeah, my parents would text me, my girls text me, asking me how you feeling? You're good, you got this. Everyone sending me press. I'm like, man, I don't know what to think. Everybody, don't text me right now. I just need to try to find something else to do. But man, for me, I've always been a guy. After the first few plays, I've always been okay. It's just football. It's just football. But it's different now. You're going against guys who are 33, 34 years old, who are year 8, year 9. I'm 24 years old at the time. I'm just man, I'm 23, 24 years old at the time, and there's guys who are literally 33, big, and guys who I've seen on TV for years, guys who you've seen, man, even when we're in the film room watching, I'm bro, that's so and so. I remember seeing him when I was in high school.
And now you're gonna be able to feel with him.
Yeah, so it's
what an experience.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
But again, I think you've always stayed ready, and I love that saying, and stay ready so you never have to get ready. It's I'm ready whenever my number gets called, I'm in. I remember me and Dana watching a couple games and seeing you in there, seeing you start. You didn't just start. You had a phenomenal year, brother. You had an amazing year.
Appreciate it.
And so God has been good, and you got some sacks in the NFL this year. You put pressure on every single QB that you faced with, and I think you had an excellent year.
Thank you.
I'm the type that I try to go read as many articles as possible. So whenever I would see you start, I'll go read. And all these sports writers, they were bigging you up, man. You had a really good year. And you put, I don't know, maybe, I know you don't want to boast about yourself, but I think in pressure, you were leading. In QB pressure, you were leading as far as rookie goes
I think,
across the league.
All stats across at my position, I think I was like top 3, top 5 for our rookie. So it was good. And and then everyone else, being like first and second round picks, just kind of shows you, like I belong here,
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I know the year ended with a slight disappointment. We were talking about that right before recording. I said, let's talk about it. You guys missed the playoffs by, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you said that for the past 5 years, Tampa Bay had made it to the playoffs. This is the first year not making it. Your first year there, so you're kind of like, oh, great. What is? Can you take us? Those of us who will never be in a situation like that, take us into the locker room. Is it really disappointing? Is it quiet in there?
Yeah, man. Especially for the veteran guys. I got guys on the team who have been there 12, 13 years, 14 years, and all they know is just winning or at least making it past the regular season. So for some of those guys, last time they had not been in the playoffs was probably like 6-7 years ago. So for them, it was like, it's different. And for me, like coming from college where my last 2 years, I was a leader. Like I was a captain. I was a guy who had to speak up in those moments, where to now in that moment, I'm not that guy anymore. There's guys who are there for that position. So it's like, just kind of sitting back, just listening to them talk and kind of just let them, do what they do. Man.
Is there somebody in the locker room that will, apart from the head coach, because the head coach is always going to come in there and try to boost morale a little bit and say, guys, let's go into the offseason, whatever he may say. But are there other players that will speak up a little bit and try to encourage people? Yeah,
for sure. Like our veterans on the team are really, really good. Like Levante David's been there, I think, like 15 years.
Wow.
Vita Vea's been there like 12 years, or I think he's been there like 9 years. Mike Evans, he's been there like 12 or 13 years. So, even guys like Baker, like there's so many guys who, who come up, who speak, and then, it's really just on the team to buy in, man. It's a lot different than college where you got guys who, I wouldn't say automatically buy in, especially nowadays with, every college player getting paid and stuff. But in the league, man, it's different. Like, I feel like there's just, every guy is kind of just, some guys are strictly business when it comes to it, and some guys are, okay, like, I do want to win. I do want to go to the next level. And then there are some guys around the whole league that's just like, man, as long as I'm playing good, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different in the NFL in that aspect as far as, like, I remember, like, in college, after every loss, there were, like, tears coming out of everyone's eyes. After every loss in the league, it's just more of, okay, like, like what we're doing later, So it's a lot different, which, understandable. Like, it's the best of the best. So you're not going to win every game. Like, that's just
the reality.
Yeah, so.
But that means you got to have a whole lot of self-motivation and determination.
That's what I had to realize, for sure.
Because otherwise you could just fall back and be like, it is what it is. I'm living my dream. Sure. I'm just going to keep it moving on the business side. But if you want to be a champion, if you want to keep on winning, you're going to have to need, some of that. Yeah. I need to motivate myself to make sure, what was the first reason I got in here in the first place?
Yeah.
But absolutely wild. I want you, as we begin to wrap this up, I can't believe we've gone so long, but maybe there's somebody listening, and maybe they're like you. They played Pee Wee sports, and maybe there's a high school player listening, maybe football, baseball, whatever it is. Maybe there's somebody listening today. They're just starting off a business. But they're dealing with thoughts of failure or thoughts of missing out on things, all that you've learned. I want you to do me a favor, Elijah, if you could. I want you to look at your camera.
Yeah.
And I want you to just maybe take a minute and just encourage, speak life. This is Thrive. It's all about, you can excel. You can keep going forward. God is for you. God is with you. Can maybe for the next 60 seconds, encourage somebody watching today. What would you tell the Elijah that was 13, 14, 15? What would you tell the Elijah when he was 19, 20 years old? What would we tell some of the guys and girls today that are trying to either start a business or lead something? If you can encourage us with some last words today.
Yeah, man. I would say first and foremost, know who you are. Like, never go away from that. There's going to be a lot of things in your life that are going to cause you to kind of question yourself and question your faith and question, if you belong here, if this is the right move for you. But as long as you have a vision and set, in mind and you have an end goal and you know who you are, nothing should really deter you from your goal. And then on top of that, never give up. Never have somebody or something affect your mood about how, about your goal, about your vision. So that would be the two things, know who you are, have a vision and set, and then never let someone or something affect your mood and affect how you go about things.
Come on, that's so good. That is absolutely brilliant. Thank you for being here.
So much, man.
I absolutely love you and your family. Me and Diana, always encouraged by you guys, seeing your unity. I know now in just a couple of weeks you're going to help out your mom with her whole organization. She's been on my wife's podcast and talked about her journey, but I love that now you're coming alongside of her. Just recently, she actually got to sing the national anthem in a game that you were playing.
Yeah, man.
Well, that must have been surreal.
Yeah, man. Thanks to my agency.
They made it happen?
Yeah, they hooked that whole thing up.
No
man.
way.
Yeah, they've, like I said, man, they really look out. Like, they were able to hook that whole thing up. My mom had already been singing at the Heat games for a little bit, so she kind of, that was like her audition tape. She kind of used that. And
I want you to know, true story, we are driving. And the video comes out, and I look over, and Diana's in tears, crying, and just like, what an experience. So like, here you are. She's just thinking as a mom, you've been singing your whole life, you've gotten some opportunities, but now you get to sing in an NFL game, the national anthem for a game your son's about to play in. And you are right there. It's not even like if it was a different game. You guys are right there. What a moment. That was a beautiful moment. Huge light that God gave you guys because I know you guys got to talk to reporters afterwards about that opportunity and all that. And you and your mom got to shine your light for Jesus. But that was a beautiful moment. You and your family are absolutely amazing. Love your brothers. Love your sister. Love all that God is doing with you guys. Keep going. Your future is bright.
Appreciate
and
that.
I love your will. I love your determination. I love your man of principles and values. And I told you from day one, I still believe it. You're a man that's a leader. And so we're going to be praying for you. We're going to be backing you up. We love you. And for now, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. And so we're rooting for you. Thank you for being here today on the podcast. Always remember, if you can change yourself, you can change your world.